This Ag Vision program is made possible through the generous support of Syngenta Seeds NK brand. The results you need, the freedom to choose. And by Farms.com. Ag news, market prices, ag careers, and farm real estate. You'll find it all at Farms.com.
We are hearing a great deal about the potential of biofuels these days, but the top manager team has decided to share some cautionary notes because without some well thought out perspective, the impact on your farm business could be far reaching.
Farmers have to be an optimist to even wake up in the morning and put a smile on your face, and I would hope that the energy issue does provide an opportunity in agriculture for some improved revenue. We have the whole biofuel area. It's predominantly impacted the corn and the soybean industry, but those who are raising canola or rapeseed, I think we're going to see increasing utilization of those sources as biodiesel. And in my mind, the major benefit of this is that by putting a more solid economic foundation under several of these crops, it gives us the ability to stay with a more diverse rotation in our business. One of the worst things that I see happening right now is if wheat's high and canola's low, or peas and lentils are low, we go out there and we try to grow wheat on top of wheat. And agronomically, that's probably not the best rotation. It's not good for the ground. It's not good for long-term disease management. But if we have an energy industry that's calling for more biofuels, and that puts a better price structure under canola, and that also pulls acres away from peas and lentils, maybe that'll put a better price structure under peas and lentils. I see this really helping much of the Canadian provinces that are growing these alternate crops, and much of the U.S. states across the northern tier that have really made a commitment historically to growing good rotations. The more sound and healthy each of these crops are, the better opportunity for farmers to stay in these good solid rotations there will be.
Biofuels are one of the most exciting developments that we're seeing in agriculture in recent years. We can spend a lot of time arguing about whether corn for ethanol is good or energy positive or negative, but really when it comes down to the market, it does not matter. If we look at the market today and the increase in ethanol production, for instance, and the potential consumption of corn that portends, then really the future in our minds is very exciting for corn production and eventually also for soybean production or oilseed production, because biodiesels are also beginning to, the biodiesel industry is also beginning to grow at a good clip. Ethanol has profound implications for producers, be they cash croppers who produce corn or soybeans, or livestock producers. On the cash crop side, it's you don't have to go far. Look at the markets today. If the promise of ethanol continues to grow, it's really pointing to very good prices, or at least superior prices for us going forward. When we build an ethanol plant, we don't build it for 1 year. These plants are going to be around for 10, 20, or 30 years, even if they change ownership during that period of time. On the livestock side, it is the converse. The competition for inputs, corn or soybeans or soy oil, by ethanol and bioenergy businesses is going to be a challenge that livestock producers have to be cognizant of and begin to plan for. I think it'll be very risky for us on the livestock side to continue to do what we've done in the past, hope for low harvest prices, and stay open most of the year for our inputs, our soy meal, for instance, or corn. This is a challenge for livestock producers in agriculture, but it's also a wonderful opportunity for our cash croppers. And personally, and my group, we're quite excited by the potential that it represents.
For example, there's been 2 large canola plants announced in Saskatchewan that have tremendous capacity. Then the other canola processing plants in Western Canada are expanding. What this expansion has done in the canola industry, it will absorb all of the canola that's produced in Western Canada, and so all of it can go into the domestic market. And so if everything comes to fruition on the canola side, there will not be any seed for export as a commodity. So in the canola industry, we're going to be in position where everything that's exported will be in a value-add product, either a margarine or cooking oil, or in some of the designer oils for very specific markets. Now, this doesn't necessarily improve the bottom line of the farmer. It doesn't necessarily put more dollars in the farmer's market. We hope to see the same thing in the biofuels industry very quickly, Kevin, because that takes the cereals. There's various types of cereal crops that we can fractionate out to starch and produce ethanol. And then the component parts can go into the other aspects of the biofuels industry. But if the ethanol industry grows as fast as we think it can, it could displace a large majority of the commodity cereals that are going into the export market. So this means more jobs in Western Canada and a higher value product going into export. But the opportunity for the farmer in the biofuels, particularly the ethanol opportunity, is to own part of the plants. There's a huge initiative now in Western Canada in particular to encourage or to put systems in place to allow farmers to have an ownership in the plant. Because again, just because you have ethanol plants does not mean the price of wheat's going to go higher and that the farmers will have more profit. The only way the farmers can improve profitability is to take an ownership position or to secure some kind of position up a value chain or a supply chain.
I keep hearing all over the place that how bioenergy, ethanol and so forth is going to be the savior of agriculture. Whenever I hear, so many times that something's going to be a panacea, I really get a lot of red flags waving. And I think, I now know a lot of farmers who are having the same red flags waving. I have a good friend and colleague in Alberta who has actually been a part owner of an ethanol plant, and he grows wheat, and he says it's not on for us to be competitive in Western Canada right now. And yet I hear all these people who are absolutely sure that it's going to be the panacea for all of our problems in the grain industry. So I do think he thinks that if we get the right set of conditions, it can happen, but we're not there right now. So that simple solution is not nearly enough. What he's saying is there's a lot more complexity there. And I think understanding complexity and thinking through systems becomes a really, really key thing in the future.